Hello and welcome to the best cricket podcast you've not listened to yet, all the way from Cow Corner. I'm joined by Charlie Cooke today. If you're new here, please subscribe. Please drop a like on this episode because there is so much more coming. And we're previewing the first test match between England and Pakistan up in Headingley. Charlie, Test cricket's back, the Red Bull's back. I'm excited. Are you excited?
Incredibly excited. There was we had a little bit of excitement with Australia and Bangladesh, and India and Sri Lanka are going on. Pakistan have obviously just played against West Indies, but Test cricket being back on English shores, I mean, could you ask for anything better?
No, it's the absolute pinnacle. Absolute pinnacle, I can't wait. It starts tomorrow. So by the time this video goes out, a lot of news that Charlie and I now don't know, we could know by the time this video comes out later today. So apologies in advance, but please comment still and call me out for it, for my poor timekeeping, because it's great for the algorithm and it's really helpful. Let's start with Beckenham. Let's start with, firstly, there was a bit of criticism in the fact that there was a few Pakistan cricket fans complaining about the fact that it hadn't rained in England for a few months and the fact the grass was quite dry. That's just what it is. Lads, sorry, can't make it all emerald green for you every time you come over and play in England. But, what did we learn from that game? From an England perspective, we saw Emilio Gay and we saw Shoaib Bashir for the Test series. What were your thoughts, Charlie, on the PCC game over at Beckenham?
It's interesting to say that Pakistan are complaining about dry pitches when last time England played against Pakistan there was patio heaters and fans out on the pitch. So this is just the weather. This is just global warming that's caused this rather than the patio heaters. In terms of what we saw at Beckenham, I mean, Emilio Gay bagging a pair probably wasn't what you'll want to see for your Test opener who's trying to prove himself. I think that Emilio Gay's selection at the start of the summer was highly justified. I think he went out and scored runs for Durham and did everything that was asked for him. I think he was kind of always marketed as that kind of next cab off the rank, and he was the one that went and scored the runs and got his place in the side pretty fairly. Now, I think he gets the whole series, but in the warm-up match, 2 ducks, it's got to be a worry, isn't it?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the fact that he played. And before the pair was secured, I was quite excited about it, thinking, well, you know what, this is great. He's not in the 100. He's not had Red Bull cricket. I'm sure he's been given the opportunity rather than told that he's going to go and play down at Beckenham. And he's taken it to go and kind of get some form ahead of the Test match. And he's gone and been picked up by both of Pakistan's opening bowlers in Muhammad Ali and Mohammad Abbas. And you could look at it one way, Charlie, and kind of think, well, good news, he's got it out the way. Or bad news, he's going to go out there, take centre, take 2 up at Headingley and go, oh, bugger, both of these blokes got my number last week. What am I going to do?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he'll think... I think it is... Emilio Gay always comes across that he's got a bit of a swagger about him, and that's kind of... it's not really... It doesn't matter. And the next game is the next game. I do think that if he doesn't perform in this series, then his kind of Test status is on the line, and they'll look to someone else going to the winter in South Africa and Bangladesh. However, he gets the whole series. If you start to see that kind of worry in the last Test, if he still hasn't got that performance in him, but there's not many kind of openers that are banging down the door to replace him. Tom Haynes scored a 50 in that Beckenham game as well, which they seem to really like him. Every Lions squad, Tom Haynes seems to be there or thereabouts, rather than a Ben McKinney, a Dom Sibley, a Hasib Hamid. That seems to be the way they go. So I think Emilio Gay's fine for now. I wouldn't worry about it too much if I'm Emilio Gay. And also, he was coming off of a shoulder injury that he picked up in the 50 over in the One Day Cup. So maybe he still wasn't feeling 100%.
Yeah, agreed. I do agree with you as well. I think he started off his career nicely, 250s against New Zealand, came away from the series averaging about 26, which I know that final Test match, it wasn't really a fair crack for him because he ended up batting 6, didn't he, because of Stokes' shenanigans at Trent Bridge. But I think going on kind of recent past, I think a lot of people, and probably myself included, would be hopeful and expectant that he does go and get a Test 100 in one of these 6 innings against Pakistan in these next 3 test matches to just go and secure that spot ahead of the South Africa tour and not have that bit of jeopardy about him. But Shoaib Bashir took poles. Shoaib Bashir, the one spinner in the squad of 16 for this first test match, went and took wickets against Pakistan. The high release point worked, the bounce was there. Does that get him a gig up at Headingley? Is he in the starting 11?
No.
No,
he's
okay,
not.
fine. Right, done. Moving on.
I mean, there is a world where they pick him, but then they're just a seamer short, isn't it? You can't... Shoaib Bashir can't exist as a cricketer in England without Ben Stokes, maybe a Sam Curran if he comes in for the 3rd test. England cannot go into a test match in England with 3 seamers and kind of 3 pretty injury-prone seamers, no matter who you pick. One of them's going to fall apart, and you always have to kind of worry about that. So our best bowling attack is probably, if we went in with 3, it would be Jofra Archer, Gus Atkinson, Josh Tongue, and maybe replace one of them with Ollie Robinson. I mean, they've all had injury problems, and I just don't think that you could risk being down to 2 seamers and Bashir and a bit of Root as your bowling options. I just don't see it working.
Don't forget a bit of funky off spin from Dan Lawrence as well. But I agree with you. I think to go in with 3 seamers would be criminal, wouldn't it? They're a bit fragile, seam bowlers in the modern game. Emilio Gay, I have watched and had the pleasure of commentating on some seam up stuff from Emilio Gay in the past, so maybe an option as a backup seamer there. But yeah, Shoaib's going to really struggle to get in an 11 without a genuine seam bowling all-rounder. Pakistan, what can we expect from Pakistan? What did we learn from that game at Beckenham? How bad is Babar's hand injury? That's twice in 2 games that he's been pinned on the gloves by one of the fast bowlers. Is there an injury doubt? I can't work out, Charlie, whether I'm excited by this Pakistan test team or whether they're going to be a bit boring but a bit good at the same time.
I mean, mercurial Pakistan. That's the cliche that goes with them every time we talk about Pakistan. You have no idea what's going to happen. If I said to you, oh, well, they're going to come out and they're going to bat at 5.5 and over and score 400 in 2 sessions, would you say that that's out of the realms of possibility? But if I also said to you, oh, they're going to go at 2 and over and they're going to score 100 in 2 sessions, and you'd kind of say, oh yeah, I could see that happening as well. I think the Babar Azam kind of question mark is going to be big. I think it would only be the first test if he is going to miss out. Yeah. But he's still going to be struggling. And then you have the question of who's going to be captain. Do they give it back to Shah Masood? Or do they give it to someone else? I don't know. It's a mess. It really is a mess.
Yeah, lucky dip cricket, isn't it? Who knows? It could be Mohammad Abbas, captain of Pakistan for the first test match if Babar's not there. I don't know. I quite like the middle order generally. I don't know how they're going to fit them all in, but Babar Azam, Saud Shakil, Abdullah Shafiq, Shan Masood, Mohammad Rizwan, Salman Ali Agha. Like, you can't fit that many guys in the middle order. They all want to bat kind of 3-3-6. I quite like that. I think it's quite a strong, quite a fun middle order. Surely Abdullah Shafiq plays, but Saud Shakil got runs. Shan Masood, so experienced, particularly in England. Does that add any value? Does he even go and open? I've read lots of comments saying that he'll open and Imam ul Haq won't play.
Yeah, I mean, possibly. I mean, one of the things that is nice about a lot of the Pakistan players is that until they moved the PSL, they obviously weren't playing in the IPL. So we got to see a lot of Pakistan players playing a lot of county championship cricket early part of the season. So you just look through who played at Beckenham. There is a lot of players there that have played county cricket, that have got experience in England. I'd be amazed if they didn't play Abdullah Shafiq. He's coming off, he scored a 60 in the Beckenham game. He scored 100 in the last test against West Indies, which basically won them the game. So I'd be shocked if he didn't play. But there is a lot of middle order options. But isn't that just what world cricket is at the moment? Everyone's got a lot of middle order options because no one wants to open the batting because it's really hard. Yeah, and as hard as it comes over in England as well. They're 2 bowlers, they're 2 opening bowlers, Mohammad Abbas and Mohammad Ali. We've seen them play county cricket. Ali lately for Nottinghamshire, Abbas for years. Hasn't he got 800 first-class wickets to his name or something obscene like that? They, from an England fan's perspective, and this is the biggest compliment I can pay them,
they look so pedestrianly boring, but they're going to cause so many problems to this England top order with that new ball.
Yeah, they really are, and throughout the game, really. I mean, they have England's kryptonite is 78-mile-an-hour keeper up to the stumps. That they can't play it, and
No.
now the only thing that might save England is that I'm not sure if Pakistan are quite clever enough to realise that Rizwan has to be up to the stumps to the 78-mile-an-hour. That might be the only thing that saves them. But if they've watched any England cricket for the last 9 months now, then Rizwan has to be up at the stumps the very first ball, and they don't know how to play it. So that is kind of the kryptonite. And then they're going to have a decent spinner. Ali Usman picked up a 5 for Sajid Khan, has caused England problems, whether it's when we were in Pakistan. So they're going to have a better spinner than us. And it looks quite good. It's the bowling attack that I'd like England to pick. But we'd like to bowl players that bowl 90 mile an hour, which doesn't work anymore. 90 mile an hour is a waste of time.
Yeah, we've moved on quickly. It's amazing how quickly those guys are no longer relevant in the world of Test cricket. And that probably leads quite nicely on to the next question with regards to England. Obviously, McCullum's not there, Stokes isn't there, Bazball's dead, and there's a new urn with the graves and the ashes of that stuff kind of lurking away somewhere in the back cupboards of the ECB offices somewhere. But are you expecting anything different from this England team now that there is Root as captain and Trescothick as interim head coach? I mean, we've got one thing in the fact that we are 25.5 hours away from the start of play, and we don't know what England's 11 is. And normally we'd have known this for about a month.
I mean, the thing is, we don't know officially what the 11 is, but when they announced the squad, they basically gave us the 11 by them saying that they want to go with 4 seamers. Jordan Cox is going to bat 3, and Dan Lawrence is going to bat 6. But the rest of that kind of fills itself in. So I guess we're very, very... What combination of seamers we might not know yet. In terms of what we're going to get with Joe Root, I think it's probably going to be something in the middle of what... If you look at the two extremes of Silverwood ball and Bazball, I think we're probably going to sit somewhere in the middle, aren't we? In terms of run rates, that's from 5.5 to 2.5. We're probably going to be about 4. We still have attacking players, and they're not all of a sudden going to become Jeffrey Boycott, so they're still going to go out and score runs. But I do think they are going to rein it in a little bit more.
Yeah, it's hard to know, isn't it? I don't think you're going to be able to turn around and have a serious conversation with Harry Brook and say, could you please bring that strike rate down to about 35, please? Because this is the way Test cricket gets played now, Joe Root's captain. That doesn't feel like a sensible conversation. It doesn't feel like it falls on particularly kind of engaged ears either. And I think jokingly, there was a piece that he posted out the other day with ECB saying about, well, if the fans are frustrated, think how frustrated I am. And somehow that felt a little bit kind of unserious and extra insulting, I think. But I appreciate getting in and getting out is frustrating, and you find your own ways of doing it. Do you think Jordan Cox and Dan Lawrence are under huge amounts of pressure going into this series? Do you think like a really good Test series for Cox suddenly puts Jacob Bethel on the heater for that South Africa tour? Do you think Dan Lawrence can do anything that stops then Sam Curran coming in or potentially Stokes returning later down the line?
I think it's interesting, isn't it? Because Jordan Cox can keep as well. Whether they'll leave Bethel out the side, I don't know if Jordan Cox goes really well in these first couple of tests. I think it's almost that Jamie Smith has a bit of pressure on him now, because you could go Jordan Cox to keep and move him down the order. There is this kind of thought in Test match cricket that the further you get down the order, the easier it is to bat. So if you score runs at number 3, then you're going to really cash in at 7. And I think Dan Lawrence is probably more his bowling more than anything else that's going to kind of, okay, yeah, if he scores 4 centuries in the next 4 tests, then all of a sudden you're thinking, okay, yeah, no, he's got to stay in the side, and maybe you look somewhere to try and fit him in. But if he can fill that void as an all-rounder, as he has done for Surrey, then maybe they don't need to look for a Sam Curran. Because the one thing that I will say is that everyone's like, oh, well, we need to replace Stokes. But you don't really need to replace Stokes, because whatever seamer you're going to bring in is probably going to get about the same bowling figures as what Stokes would get. And the batter, Stokes, the batter for the last 3 years, has averaged about 25. So the two players that you're going to replace is Bashir and Stokes. So you need someone that's going to average 25 with the bat and 40 with the ball. That's probably something that Dan Lawrence could do.
That feels so insulting now that you've said it out loud, but it sounds so right at the same time. Yeah. Well, I was excited for the start of the Test match, and now I've thought about replacing those two cricketers with Dan Lawrence in that kind of numbers. I'm less excited, Charlie. But thank you so much for popping down to Cow Corner and having a chat about it. Folks, if you're not following Charlie, please make sure you do so. All of those end-of-day reviews will be all over Charlie's social, so make sure you go and follow him across all of the socials. And we'll see you. I think Charlie Harden's on match review duties, so probably see you over there for the end of the first Test.